Have you ever walked the hallways of your school at night or snuck around in an empty classroom and noticed you weren't alone? While this may sound like the plot of a Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode, strangely supernatural or downright disturbing things have happened to real-life people as well. Violent students, freaky accidents, and frightful ghosts have all made students and faculty alike think twice about wandering around their campuses at odd hours and/or alone. Today, I'm going to show you disturbing true high school horror stories. Send in your own scary, horror, or creepy stories that you want us to feature to Nightmare Story Channel at @gmail.com. Number 1. A noisy ghost disrupts the library at night. My school's library is open around 2 in the morning for the idiots like me who don't do their essays until the last minute. It's a pretty small building, and most of the books are in the basement area called the stacks. Just to give you a quick layout, there's the big main stairs that go down to the stacks, a vending machine room, and the long hallway with 4 entrances into the stacks. The stacks are 2 really big rooms on opposite sides of the hallway, with a huge amount of bookshelves and study desks lining the walls. I was there around 11 p.m. last year. It was a pretty research-intensive essay, so I was down in the stacks, working in one of the study desks, so I didn't have to keep going upstairs and downstairs again. I had been there for maybe 2 hours, and everyone except for a boy working a few desks down from me had already left. I was pretty zoned out by this point. It was an 8 a.m. class, so I didn't have much time until it was due, and I was sort of panicking. So it really pissed me off when I heard someone flipping through book pages really fast to make them do that loud whir noise at the end of the other room. I sort of ignored it for a while, thinking they'd go away eventually, but they just kept doing it. After about 5 minutes, I got sick of it and started to walk over to tell them to knock it off. I get about 3 steps across the room, and it just stopped. I sat back down, and it was quiet again for like 10 more minutes before the flipping page noises started again, only loads louder, like they'd grab a huge book that time. The boy started to get pissed off too, and he stood up and started walking through the bookshelves trying to find them. It keeps going, so I got up too and started looking around with him. It got really loud, and it was pretty obvious where it was coming from by that point, so we started walking towards it. He was on one side of the shelves, and I was on the other. We walked all the way down to the shelves. No one was there. We hadn't seen anyone come in the stacks, and we were on the side of the room with the entrances. No way could anyone have come in without us seeing them. The noise stopped again, and we both just sort of slowly walked back to our seats. I assumed it was just a fan or something in the other room, and I really needed to get my essay done. We sat down, and immediately the noise started again. It sounded like it was coming from right next to the guy's chair. He shoved his stuff in his bag, looked at me and said, "Fuck this," and took off. I was out of there maybe 5 seconds behind him. I still won't be going back in the stacks at night, even when there's other people down there. No essays worth getting murdered by a weird book ghost. Number 2. There is something wrong with the child. My pregnant sister-in-law works with a child who is mentally ill. He doesn't take his meds some days, and he will often draw pictures of killing things and blood everywhere. Sometimes he'll tell the teachers, "This is you," and there is blood everywhere, and he laughs. The other day, she was helping him and he was frustrated, so he stabbed her with a pencil. And then, right after that, he went to hit her stomach. She deflected the hit and said, "You can't hit, especially my stomach. Do you know why?" And the freaking kid goes, "Yeah, 'cause you have a baby in there. I hope it dies." This kid is in 1st grade. Number 3. He harbors such hate in his heart. I'm not a teacher myself, but my best friend works as a teaching assistant in a small primary school. She used to tell me about a little boy who would constantly give death stares to teachers and would generally refuse to interact with other children. My friend absolutely loved kids, but even she admitted she had never seen a child look so angry all the time, like he hated the world even though he was so young. He would face the wall during class time and repeatedly bash his head against the wall until staff intervened. He then jabbed the dinner lady in the arm with his fork, so hard that it drew blood. In my friend's classroom, they had a small incubator with little chicks that the children would help to look after and watch as they grew up. At one point, he was left unattended and managed to squeeze one of the poor chicks to death. I don't know whatever happened with him because my friend got a job at another school, but the story has always stuck in my mind. Number 4. It attached herself to her roommate. I had a random assigned roommate in college who was a very sweet, religious girl. She kept to herself mostly, but she was always really kind and polite. This was the first year I didn't seem to have a bitchy roommate, so I was excited to get along with her. About 2 nights after we get moved in, I wake up to hear someone sobbing softly outside my bedroom door. It was a really weird sound, this kind of desperate, creaky sobbing, and I was so fucking scared at first because it sounded like the shit you hear in horror movies, or like The Witch if you've played Left 4 Dead. I heard someone moving around the apartment and occasionally coming back to my door, scratching on it softly. So I finally summoned the courage to peek out of my bedroom. My roommate was just walking around the apartment, crying. She was sleepwalking apparently because her eyes were closed, and when I opened the door, her head turned to look right at me. Then she slowly went to the kitchen table, picked up a pencil, and started to scrawl this weird symbol on her door. The next morning, she was really scared and mad at me because this demon symbol had appeared on her door, and she thought I had done it to prank her. She didn't believe me when I told her she was the one who did it, but accepted my denials that I did it, and we dropped it. Every time, she would come to scratch softly on my door, and every morning, there would be another symbol on her door. She was still convinced it was me fucking with her. I considered filming her, but honestly, I was really scared of opening the door because I watched too many scary movies about demons and shit. Then, one time, we were in our separate dorm rooms when there was a huge bang from her bathroom. There was obviously no one else in the dorm, so we were both really freaked out, but we decided to investigate. We pulled back the shower curtain and there was a huge arc of blood on the wall. She went pale but had no explanation of this. Later that night, while I was studying in total silence, she rushed into my room and demanded to know what I had said. I asked her what she was talking about, and she said she was in the bathroom and heard me talking to her like I was whispering something through the wall. Nope. After that, whenever she was gone for the weekend, I always heard weird noises coming from her side of the dorm suite in the middle of the night. Nope, nope, nope. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, share the video, and turn on post notifications to see more of our future videos. With that said, keep enjoying our videos, and I'll see you in the next video.